how do we bring more candidates in is I take every job posting. So you get the head of the functional area writes the job posting, the head of marketing, head of engineering, head of IT, head of finance, whatever. They write the job posting for that role they're hiring for. But then you give it to a copywriter, or you can run it through ChatGPT a few times by a marketer, and you polish the job posting so that it pops off the page like a sales letter that sizzles, right? It really has to attract people in. And if you're the head of engineering, I'm sorry, you're not trained as a copywriter, your job posting kind of sucks, right? It's got all the factual stuff, but it doesn't grab me. So you have to really get a polished version by a copywriter or a marketer, and that's the one that you're then sending out. Number two is make sure that you have the compensation very, very high up on the job posting, like in the first sentence, right? It is a filter. You need to attract people right away and push people right away, because I don't want people spending 3 hours or 30 minutes reading through something only to find out you're paying way less. And I also don't want people applying for a job that's way above them. So the comp helps to filter some people out. Secondly is make sure that any of the job criteria that you put in, you're absolutely serious about needing. Don't put down a university degree if you don't care. The reality is most of the stuff that we put in there doesn't actually matter. And here's why it's really important. Most women, if they see 10 things that have to be there, if they don't meet 9 or 10 of the 10, they're not going to apply. Guys will be like, yeah, I meet 4 or 5, I'll go for it, right? It's kind of like the guy who's overweight and doesn't have any hair and he thinks he's good looking. It's like, no, you're a fat, rich dude. And then you got a woman who's a Victoria's Secret model and she's got a tiny little mole on her left hip and thinks she's hideous. Right. Women will not apply unless they meet all that criteria. So only put the criteria on the job posting that's absolutely required. And then I think next is to really make sure that you talk about the person that you're hiring about, not so much about the company. We tend to talk about the company. I want to talk about the person reading, so they can either see themselves and feel themselves in the role, or that they really crystal clearly understand that they don't fit. That's kind of my starting point to kind of using that resume. The other thing that I like doing is putting in place a recruiting bonus that's very different from what most companies use. So here's how my recruiting bonus works. It's equal to 50% of the first year's salary the person's going to get. So let's say you're hiring a $150,000 employee. I'm going to put a recruiting bonus in place for $75,000. And anybody who works for me can earn the 75 grand. It's paid out $15,000 a year for 5 years. It's paid out at the end of year 1, the end of year 2, the end of year 3, the end of year 4, the end of year 5, provided the person referring and the person who joins the company are both still with you for that period of time. It's hugely meaningful. It absolutely moves the needle. It becomes a retention plan because nobody's going to quit until they get their bonus. They're going to wait for a year or wait for 2. So you have some predictability. It also becomes an onboarding tool because you can guarantee the person who's got that money coming in is going to want to make sure that people they refer are actually coming in and enjoying things and sticking things out. And you'll also find that if employees get 1 or 2 of those recruiting bonuses in place that they're earning, they're not going to be coming to you for pay raises because they've earned their pay raise based on some kind of meritocracy. That recruiting bonus is hugely powerful.